In this video, we're going to take a look at rate tables. So in the drop down, go to Projects, Setup tab, and over here under your Project Contract section, click on Rate Tables. If there's a green button, it means you can add from here. If you don't see that green button, it means you don't have permission to add a rate table. So that's something that you might want to check out if you don't see that plus. So we're going to click in here then to our Project Contract rate tables. And when I click in, I have some that are already set up, and I notice that these are not owned. So these rate tables were set up at top level. And that's a decision that you have to make right now, is if you want to set up your rate tables at top level or entity level. Are they entity specific, or are you going to want to access those rate tables from a bunch of different entities? In that case, you'd want to do that at top level. So when you've decided where you want to put them in, you're going to hit add and give it an ID, call it whatever makes sense for you. I don't care if you just give it a number or whatever, and give it a name like standard, whatever it's supposed to be. If it's project specific, you could give it a project name, something like that. And then you have the option to do tables on timesheet entries, purchasing, AP, GL, credit card, and employee expenses. So you could do something really simple, like just type in default and say for all of your timesheet entries, you want the labor rate to be $100. And on your lines here that you're setting up, it's either going to be, a rate or a markup percent. You can't do both. So you could have a default $100 per hour labor rate, or you could do default markup percent 25% on every hour or something like that. So that's like a catch-all. Then you can also click here and decide that for regular time it's X, for overtime it's Y. Then you can say for employee position, it's a specific rate. So for my project managers, I want to charge $150 an hour, or I want to do certain markup on their hourly rate. And then so you could have your project managers here. You could also have your supers and say, so these guys are going to get 150 and these guys I'm going to charge 125. And then if you hit show details here on the line, it gives you all of the different options for what you can pull in. And you might even want to do more actions, edit, the different layouts, and pull onto the main screen whatever it is that you're doing these rates by. So you can get really, really specific, and you can do it by employee. So you can say for Jose Garcia, who's my project manager on that particular project, I want him to be $200 or whatever it is. So you'll have to go through and obviously decide like what those rates are going to be. Are you going to do it by employee, by position? You have all your different options here. You might want to move around that screen so that you can see the actual entries that you're defining it by on the main screen. And then it's either going to be a markup percent or a rate. Okay, so we're going to leave that as is. I'm going to hide the details, and then we're going to look at, your purchasing. So for your purchasing, what do you want to say for this? Do you want this just to be a catch-all and say, default markup percent is always going to be 15%? Accounts payable, same thing. You don't care. You just want it to be a catch-all. You could say descriptions default. It doesn't matter what it comes in as. You just want it to be 15% markup. GL, same thing. Credit card, same thing. And employee expenses maybe is also 15% markup. So you will go through and decide how you want to break that down by. Use the show details button to bring up all of the options. Maybe do more actions to move that around, and then save your rate table. You'll obviously need to give it an ID and a name in order to save it. So if I hit cancel and I look at one that's already in, So let's say my union rates for Oregon, I have this, descriptions here. If it's regular time field, it's $70.45. If it's overtime for my carpenter, it's $105.65. There are different things that you can do. So play around with your rate tables and get them into the system. Obviously, if they need to be at top level, put them in a top level. If they need to be at entity, then put them in at entity. Once they've been saved, then, and you go into your project contract lines and you're setting up the time and material lines, once you flick it over to T&M, it'll give you the option to pull in those rate tables. So if I just go to all project contracts and look at the line that I have, that's T&M. Okay, so if I hit add and I see progress bill, don't see the option for rate tables. You have to switch it to time and material in order to see the rate tables. And you can have a different rate table for your AP, credit card, employee, etc. So that's your rate tables. Quite a lot of information obviously has to go into that if you're doing time and material billing. So make sure you're putting them in at the right level. The most granular that you put in is what's going to take effect. So let's say you put in employee name for your timesheets. That's going to be the override. So the most granular is going to take effect first.